to adopt the proposed rules. Do I have a second?
A second.
I have a second from Chair DeLuca. Ms. Hawkins, I'll return to you for debate on the motion.
Yes, sorry for wanting to debate or read my comments out of order. This is just a few, and I would say a majority of them they're very similar. Forgot at home, but voter has a voter card and it's expired. Left at home by mistake, arrived at station just before closing time. I changed my last name to my maiden name, and NC mistakenly sent my new license with the wrong name. Left it at home, out-of-state ID, no passport. Out-of-state driver's license, but I registered in 2022. Let me say that again. I have an out-of-state driver's license, but I registered in 2022. And that ballot was accepted and it was in the count. Lots of expired, didn't have time, lost ID, replacements on the way, cannot get an appointment at DMV. I have a passport in New York. Voter left wallet with photo at home and will provide it to the DOE by March, so they were going to bring theirs back in. I don't know whether they did or not. They must have, because it was approved. Lives in state, part-time, does not have an NC license. That too was accepted. So I think we'll find, if we do adopt this rule, that we're going to go with the majority to find falsity, that very little will change by way of the exception forms that our citizens are issuing.
Thank you, Ms. Hawkins. Is there further debate? I'll recognize Mr. Carter.
So, the version will continue.
Oh, I'm sorry. Chair DeLuca or Ms. Millen?
Go ahead, Mr. Carmen. I may chime in after you're done, but go ahead.
I read those comments, not all 1,000, but the majority of them, and what struck me was the two different tones in those comments. One tone was, we want to make sure people can vote. This is going to cause an issue for people. And then the other tone, which is what frightens me the most about this rule, is that we're supporting a lie. There's not significant voter fraud in our state. And by making this rule to make it majority instead of unanimous, it feeds into that lie that there's a ton of voter fraud. Some of the comments were very hurtful towards people who are disabled, towards people who may be financially in a bad position. And that's not what our state is about. And if we're going to keep moving down that road that follows, I would say, a national movement, I think we need to really be careful, as well as be prepared for the blowback as we continue to do what appears to be an agenda throughout the country.
Further,
Mr. Secretary, may I just make a different point? So if I understand, Ms. Hawkins, you said there were 189 exception forms in the March primary, and that 4 were denied for just about any reason. Is that right?
That's correct. Yeah. 4 were denied, and it could have been for maybe they weren't even a registered voter, or, well, once provisional was researched. I do not know why those 4 were denied, but not the.
So that would we all agree that's about 2%?
But they weren't necessarily denied for photo ID. They could have been denied for any host of other reasons.
I guess I'll just say that if we see the percent in the fall, after we pass this rule, getting higher than 2%, which is our baseline now, then we can understand that maybe the board's got a little stroppy with their new majority power. So I would suggest that we just keep an eye on that number.
Well, 2%.
We got 4 out of 189 when it was majority. When it was unanimous, and now we'll see when it's majority if we're going to get more that are denied.
The 4 that were denied out of the 189 were not necessarily denied for photo ID. The voter could not possibly been registered in that county. So there is no 2% baseline. There is no baseline because we do not know how many of those 4 were denied for photo ID.
Okay, well, we can find that out, and we can start to do some comparisons.
further debate on the motion? I will just say that the topic that we're discussing here, whether this is a majority vote or a unanimous requirement, is something that the unanimous requirement was adopted by a numbered memo. It was not put forth for rules. It was not reviewed by the Rules Review Commission for compliance with the statute. The text of the statute relating to the photo ID exception form does not require a unanimous requirement. That is something that was invented out of whole cloth by this board. I was in the minority when that numbered memo was adopted, and did not believe that was faithful to the text of the statute, and appreciate the rule as proposed as being consistent with the statute, and I believe the Rules Review Commission will agree with that. But with that being my comment, is there further comment from members of the board? Hearing none, I'll move to a vote. Ms. Hawkins?
Aye.
Mr. Carmen?
Being in a minority, as you stated earlier, no.
Ms. Miller?
No.
Chair DeLuca?
Yes.
And the secretary votes aye.